Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Tech Junction. In this video, we will explore the software testing terms and various types of testing terminologies which are commonly utilized. Let's start it with the fundamental terms which are used in the manual testing. We will begin with the test case followed by exploring test plans, regression testing, smoke testing, unit testing. Then we will see what is whitebox testing and blackbox testing, what is usability testing, integration testing, sanity testing, as well as concepts such as defects, bugs, test environment, retesting, users acceptance testing. We will learn about the severity and priority. Then what is graphical user interface, that is GUI testing, compatibility testing, globalization testing. Additionally, we will cover testing terminologies like monkey testing, exploratory testing, Adog testing, and at last we will see what is performance testing. This video will be helpful for both beginners who want to start their career in software testing and experienced candidates also who are looking to clarify their basic concepts. It breaks down different types of testing so that testers not only perform their job but also will understand what kind of testing they are doing. So before starting this video, I request you to imagine any of the software in your mind, whatever it could be, okay? And try to correlate the terms with that software so you will easily understand the terms. Let's start with the first term, that is test cases. The test case is a set of conditions or variables under which a tester will determine whether an application or system is working as expected or not. A test case is generally created before developing any feature of a software. So testers start writing test cases by referring the user stories. So what is user story? User story is nothing but what to do. Okay. So suppose, for example, we have a user story to create a login page. So on login page, what do you have? You may have username, password, login button, etc. So tester write test cases for each of these feature. Let's take any one feature. Let's take a username field. Okay. So suppose there is a requirement that the username should only accept the alphabets and not a numbers. Then our expected result will be username should only accept the alphabets and actual result should be same as expected. Okay. So as mentioned here, test case is a set of condition, and what is those condition? Those conditions are expected result and actual result conditions. Okay. So test case is a combination of expected result and actual result. Along with that, it also has test result, test data, and the test steps. So the combination of this all is nothing but a test case. So next term is test plan. This is a two different words, right? One is a test and another is a plan. In simple word, a plan or approach for testing is nothing but a test plan. Okay, so here is the definition. The test plan is the document where all the details about testing approach is mentioned, such as resources, estimation, and the activities planned for the testing. So as I told, what approach you will follow while testing, what methods you will see, you will use, which type of testing and activities you will perform, and what estimated time you need to perform all kind of testing. This is called as a test plan. Simple. So let's talk about the next term, that is regression testing. So regression testing is the process of rerunning the previously executed test cases to ensure that the recent changes haven't negatively impacted on existing functionalities in a software. Let me explain this in more easy way. Suppose we have Amazon. Previously, we had used Amazon only to buy the things, but now Amazon has an online transaction feature, scan and pay option. Also, they have Amazon Prime feature. So these features are newly added. So just imagine the older version of Amazon where you can only buy the things online. Okay, now suppose if Amazon invented and added a new feature that is scan and pay. Now as a tester, what I will do? I will first check the scan and pay feature which is newly added, and if it's working properly and it's as per expected, then I will perform a regression testing. That means I will check the whole application along with this newly added feature. I will make sure that the impact of this newly added feature should not affect on the other feature which are already there in my application. So this kind of a testing is called as a regression testing. Hope you understand that. Now the next term is a smoke testing. So smoke testing is a quick check to make sure the basic part of the software are doing their job right. In simple word, the general checkup of a software is nothing but a smoke testing. Let's take one example of any social media platform. Okay, you well known about the Instagram. So if I want to perform a smoke testing on Instagram, then what I'll do? I'll first install the application and will check whether it is installing or not. If it's installing properly, then we'll check the authentication, sign up and sign in both. Then I will check the home page, profile page, feeds, then the search option. So these are the general things of Instagram, right? So testing of the basic or core feature of a software is nothing but a smoke testing. Okay, fine. So let's move to the next term, that is unit testing. So unit testing is a testing of a software considering the positive scenario, and the unit testing is generally performed by the developers. So what is positive scenario here? Suppose if we have a login page and we want to log in successfully, then if you use correct username and correct password, then you'll get logged in, right? That means you performed positive scenario there. And if you are using any credential incorrectly to log in, that means you are performing the negative scenario there. So it could be correct username, incorrect password, or incorrect username, correct password, or both incorrect credentials. So just applying positive scenario and checking the whole application is nothing but a unit testing. Okay. So now let's talk about the next term, that is a Whitebox testing. It is related to the unit testing. So Whitebox testing is a testing of a software where testers knows the internal structure. That means a code. So unit testing is also called as a Whitebox testing. This testing is generally performed by developers, that we know, and sometimes it is performed by the testers who know the internal structure. That is, whomever having the coding knowledge or the logic which is used in the particular feature of that software, they can perform the Whitebox testing. Here same like unit testing, only the positive scenario would be applied. Okay. Now the next term is black box testing. So black box testing is the testing of a software where tester is unknown of the internal structure. That's a coding, unknown about the coding. So in white box testing, we saw testers know the internal logic or code of a software, and also only the positive scenario would be applied there, right? But in black box testing, the testers are unknown about the internal coding of a software. They can only see the external structure, that is the implementation. Okay, only implementation. For example, the click or submit button or the text field, search field. So you can just see the buttons and fields. You don't know the internal structure of it. So if you don't know the internal structure and you are testing the feature externally, then you can call it as a black box testing. And here in black box testing, testers apply both positive and negative scenario. Hope you understand what is the white box testing and black box testing, difference between these two. Okay, so let's move to the next term, that is usability testing. So usability testing is a method of evaluating a product or a system by observing real user interact with it. That is the user friendliness of a software. So in the usability testing, we have to consider ourselves as an end user who will use the application. Okay, so as a tester, we test here the user friendliness only, how the application is user friendly with us. Every feature of the application should be user friendly. The primary goal of usability testing is to ensure the product is easy for user to understand, to navigate, and to accomplish their task efficiently. So this type of a testing, we have to consider ourselves as a user, and we have to check the user friendliness of the software. So this is a simple definition or the meaning of usability testing. Okay, so let's know about the next term, that is integration testing. Before that, you might know what is integration. Okay, but in software testing, integration means the combination of different modules. So as mentioned here, when small components of a software module combine together, then it is called as a integrated module, also called as a build. Okay, so to test this integrated module or a build is called as integration testing. Simply, module is in the sense of a feature. Module means nothing but a feature. So suppose you have YouTube, then YouTube is a build combined with the different types of modules, right? Like there is a like button, comment section, share feature, subscribe feature we have. These are the different types of modules. So to combine this module is nothing but integrating them, right? And to test this module after integration is called as integration testing. Okay. So the next term is a sanity testing. Here is the definition. So sanity testing is the testing of a basic core functionality without taking reference of any test cases. In sanity testing, we make sure the build is stable or not. So I would like to explain this by giving you a simple example. Let's take same example of a YouTube. Okay, so on YouTube you can see we have play or pause and a next button, from where you can play the video, pause it, clicking on next button you can go to the next video. Okay, we also have the like dislike buttons, subscribe tab, bell icon is there, search field is there, from where you can search the videos. We have share option. In comment section we have the text field. So for YouTube, these are the basic and core functionalities which must be functional. It should be working and its result should be as expected. So testing the core and basic functionality is nothing but a sanity testing. And suppose if these functionalities are breaking, okay, so you cannot continue with it further, or we can say if these functionalities are breaking, then the build is not stable, because your core functionalities are breaking and it's not working. So you cannot continue with it. You can continue only after the core functionality start working as per the expectations. That means you can only continue if your sanity testing passes. That is, your build should be stable. So testing the core and basic functionality along with the build stability is called as a sanity testing. Simple. So let's move to the next term, that is defect. So defect is an error in design, implementation, flow of development or coding, or in a testing or any other aspect of the software which results the undesirable outcomes. So if someone asks you about the defect, then you can say its general meaning. It's an error which results undesirable outcome. And the error could be anything and anywhere. So that's the defect which causes the undesirable output. So many times one question always asked to testers, that is what is difference between defect and bug. So no need to make a confusion there in between these two. Always remember defect is related to the error and error could be anything. Okay. Now let's talk about the bug. So bug is a deviation. It's a deviation between the expected result and actual result of a software feature. That is, if the expected result not matching with the actual result, then we can call it as a bug. Suppose you have a feature where you have one text field and one send button. Only this much you have. Okay. And suppose my expected result is when I type a message in that text box and click on the send button, then the message should send. If this feature is working as per my expectation, then it's fine. But if this feature is not working as per my expectation, then it's a bug. Suppose in the text field, I'm not able to enter any type of a text. Or suppose if send button is not working or it's not clickable, then you may call it as a bug because we found the deviation between expected result and actual result. Okay. So that's the bug. Now hope you understand the difference between bug and defect. Okay. Let's move to the next term, and the term is test environment. So the test environment is a setup or a system where the software testing takes place. It's a very simple definition, but it is most important term that you should know, because without knowing the test environment, a tester cannot perform a testing effectively. Your all testing result and activities are always depends on your test environment. So this test environment, what we have in test environment, that's the hardware, which hardware you are using, software, which software you are using for the testing, your network configuration, and the other element that needed to conduct the test effectively. Your machine configuration is also important. Okay. So that's all about the test environment. Now let's move to the next term, that is retesting. So same as its name, retesting is the process of rechecking the software to ensure it is a bug free. So if you tested something and to ensure that if you retest it again only to check whether the bug is free or not, then that means you are performing a retesting. So this type of testing generally performed when developer fixes the features or bugs. We try to reproduce that bug if any, and for that we need to test the same feature again and again only to ensure that bug is fixed or not. So this is nothing but a retesting. Now let's move to the next term. It's a user acceptance testing. That's a UAT testing. So users acceptance testing is the final phase of a testing where the end users assess and validate the system to ensure that the software is as per the requirements and it is ready for the production deployment. So as mentioned here, the end user test whether the software and its features are as per the expectation or not. If all the features are as per the expectation or client's requirement, then we can say it is ready for the production. So generally we perform UAT with a client to ensure everything is working fine. Okay, so that's nothing but a users acceptance testing, UAT testing. Okay, so the next term is severity. So severity is a seriousness and importance of a bug with respect to the client's requirement. Now you know about the bug, right? So how severe the bug is, how much it will affect on the requirement that we should need to consider, and hence we decide the severity of that bug. So depending on the bug, it is mainly divided into three categories: critical, major, and minor. So let me explain this. If your feature is breaking totally, okay, then its severity will be critical because your feature is not working at all. That means your severity of that bug is a critical. Suppose if your feature is working but it's giving undesirable outcomes, then its severity would be major because your feature is working but not giving desirable output. That means its severity would be major. It should be fixed, right? And if the feature is working as expected, but there is a minor issue which are not affecting directly on your feature, but that need to be fixed, then its severity would be low. Okay, so it's totally depends on the feature and its requirement. So that's all about the severity. Let's move to the next term, that is priority. So priority defines as in which order the issue or bug should be fixed. So suppose you found one bug, suppose the submit button, okay, let's take a feature, one feature, that is submit button. Suppose the submit button is not clickable, then you have to decide its priority. So feature and requirement wise priority changes. Remember these things, okay? If the most important feature has a bug, like a submit button is not clickable, then we decide their priority as a high. So it's totally depends on the feature and the effect of bug on the requirement. So it is also categorized into three types: high priority, medium priority, and low priority. So if the bug which is directly impacting on the business requirement, then its priority would be high. Like that way, we decide the other priorities like medium and low priority. Okay, hope you understand what is severity and priority. So severity and priority, these two terms are very important. Most of the times this question is asked, what is the difference between severity and priority? Okay, so hope you understand the difference between these two. Now the next is GUI testing, that is graphical user interface testing. So GUI is the process of validating the visual components of a software to ensure that the feature and functions meets the requirement. Here we test the visual components such as buttons, tabs, text field, images, header or footer elements, text on the pages. Okay, here we check the location of the tabs and buttons and their behavior, whether they are highlighting or not if we move pointer over it. The images on the screen and their behavior. In short, testing overall interface is nothing but a GUI testing. Okay. Now let's move to the next term. So here is the term compatibility testing. So compatibility testing is the testing if the software application is compatible or not with the user's expected platform. So what is user expected platform? These are nothing but the devices and the browsers which user using your application, on which your users are using your application. So by considering that, we test our software on different type of browsers like Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Brave, along with their versions. Okay. We test the software on different types of operating systems also, like Windows, Linux, Mac OS, etc. We also check the application on mobile devices and operating systems like Android or iOS. So we make sure our software or application should be compatible with all the platform where the users will use it. So this kind of a testing is nothing but a compatibility testing. Okay. Now let's move to the next term. that is globalization testing. So globalization testing is a testing of a software application in the different languages. So if your software or application has a multilingual feature, then you need to test it in the different languages. So suppose your software supports the languages 3 to 4 languages. Okay, let's take English, Hindi, Spanish, French, etc. Okay, so testing the application in all these languages is nothing but a globalization testing. This globalization testing has a three type mainly: local, international, and global. So all the local languages comes under the local globalization testing. For example, in India, Hindi, Marathi, Telugu, these are the local languages. So those comes under the local category. Okay. The international languages are changes country wise. So it could be a French, Spanish, Chinese, it could be anything with respect to the country. Okay, so that comes under the internationalization. And as we know, the global language is English, so it comes under the global. So testing the application with multiple languages as per the requirement is called as a globalization testing. Hope you understand this term. Now we are going to see the specific testing terminologies in software testing. So in software testing there are 3 terminologies that we follow. Okay, so the first is monkey testing. It is also called as a speed testing. Okay, so monkey testing is a technique where the software application is subjected to random input or action to check its behavior. It involves inputting the random data, clicking buttons randomly, or performing other actions without referring any test cases. To make you understand, I would like you to give an example. So you know how monkey behaves. It jumps from one tree to another, right, in very random manner. So same like this way we have to test the application. If you got a build, then you have to test its feature randomly. Check the buttons, search boxes, provide the random data in those search boxes, select options or drop downs randomly. Whatever feature you saw in front of you, test those feature randomly. That's nothing but a monkey testing. And it is also called as speed testing because of its behavior. Randomly we check everything, right? So that's why it is also called as speed testing. We does not take the help of any test cases. Okay, so here we test the application applying the random scenario. Okay, so hope you understand this first term, monkey testing. Now let's move to the next terminology, that is exploratory testing. So exploratory testing is a dynamic testing approach where testers explore and evaluate a software application without predefined test cases. So this type of testing is performed generally in early stage of development. Okay, when testers don't have any detailed test documentation like a test cases or a test plan, etc. Okay, so here testers can use their domain knowledge to explore the feature and understand the potential areas where the improvement wherever there is improvement required in the software. So if a new member join the organization or a new team member join, then to understand the product and to gain the domain knowledge, this exploratory testing is performed. Okay, now let's see the third testing terminology, that is Adog testing. So Adog testing means exploring the application spontaneously to find the defect. Actually it's a subset of monkey testing. Okay, remember this is a subset of monkey testing, but here the tester should have the domain knowledge and the testing experience. So testers use their testing knowledge and experience to test the application spontaneously to uncover the defect and bugs. Okay, and here also testers are not taking the help of any predefined test cases or in document. So based on your previous testing experience, you have to test this software spontaneously. Is nothing but a ad hoc testing. So hope you understand all the three testing terminologies. So the last but not a least, the term is performance testing. So as the name suggests, in performance testing, we check the performance of a software in various conditions. Here is the definition. So performance testing is the testing of an application under various conditions such as higher loads or intense data processing, and check the overall performance of application. So performance testing itself is a broad term in software testing, and it totally depends on the condition which we apply there to test its overall performance. So conditions are also depends as per the requirement. So here I mentioned a few types of the performance testing which are generally used. Okay, so first is a load testing. Here we apply the load on a software, like simulate and apply the multiple users or a transaction and check its ability, whether it handles the expected load or not. Okay, that's a load testing. The second is a stress testing. So here also we apply the load, but it would be beyond its limit or more than the expected capacity of that software. And then we check the capacity, whether it is capable or not to handle the stress. That's a stress testing. The third is endurance testing. So it's a simple. So here we apply the load on a software for a long time. Okay, for a long time, and check its ability. That's nothing but a endurance testing. And the next is spike testing. Okay, so in this type of a performance testing, we suddenly increase or decrease the load or user traffic and check whether it is able to handle the load or not. Suddenly increment or decrement may affect on the performance. So that's why we use this spike testing. So that's all about the software testing terms and terminologies, which is the part of manual testing. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. Keep exploring the world of software testing, stay curious, and I will see you in the next video. Happy testing.